Hello, the internet. I'm here to talk about a science fiction novel I read this week called Zoey Punches the Future in the Dick. And I am going to make up a cocktail inspired by this novel. This book, which I'm going to call Zoey Ash 2, is the second in the Zoey Ash series. And the first was called Futuristic Violence in Fancy Suits by Jason David Wong Pargin. David Wong was his pen name when he worked at Cracked as their editor. If you were familiar with Cracked.com back in the day, they published pretty good, insightful essays, as well as pretty hilarious comedy type stuff. I liked Cracked.com. It's different now, but I still follow a bunch of the creators from Cracked, and they're still doing great work, like Some More News, for instance, which is hilarious. And Jason Pargin is no different. He's done wonderful stuff, including this novel and the others. Very thoughtful, very insightful, despite the title. The title. All right, I hear you asking it. What's this book even about? What is Zoey Ash 2? Well, it starts with a hostage negotiation in which the heroine literally Googles how to hostage negotiate in the process of negotiating. Ends with a huge helicopter chase and has violence and confusion and references to popular culture throughout. So if you like that, give it a try. It defies categorization, I'll say that. Inspired by it, I am going to be making a cocktail entitled The Dick Punch. Thank you to my wife for suggesting it. It's my first experiment with a clarified milk punch, and it turned out surprisingly decent. So, let's try that. For this Dick Punch, we're going to use 4 ounces of Southern Shine moonshine. Don't worry, there's more in the mixing vessel. To that 4 ounces of moonshine, we are going to add 8 ounces of Mexican Coke. Zoey Ash 2, one of the themes is we take simple things and make them complicated. We're going to add 4 ounces of whole milk. Let that curdle, and then filter it through a coffee filter. It'll take about 10 minutes to curdle and then another 10 to 20 minutes to fully filter. And when you're done, you end up with this interesting clarified whiskey Coke mixture. Pour that over a big rock. Add just a splash of grenadine. And then garnish with 2 maraschino cherries and 1 mandarin orange slice. Just like that. How does that taste? You know, it tastes about like you might expect. Sort of a very mellow Coke flavor, mostly cola, but very sweet, a good mouthfeel, and not too bad. When I read Zoey Ash 1, I didn't really make the comparison to Ready Player One, and I'm a little concerned that that's going to be an unfair comparison. They're very different books, but there are some thematic similarities. Both are novels that definitely take their cues from gaming and gaming culture, as well as in the second book, in Zoey Ash 2, there's even direct influence of the online gaming world on the real world, both as an allegory for sort of gamer culture and its effects, as well as a deeper look into how that culture might affect people's lives, for good and ill. I think what makes this book stand out to me is that it does dig deep on some of these issues. As an example, where Ready Player One loved a lot of nostalgia and sort of took it uncritically that getting tons of money would be a good thing, this book doesn't look at it that way. This book says, one, a lot of the past wasn't all that great, and we should acknowledge that. And a lot of the things that come with getting money are just bad and dangerous, and we should be aware of that. We get enemies when we have a lot of resources, and that can be pretty terrible. Likewise, where the money comes from is not a big vault full of gold. It's a machine, and this is actually made very explicit. I'll read you the quote here. What does giving the money away even mean? You're still picturing your wealth like it's a pile of coins in your vault, but it's not. It's a machine. You pay 5,000 employees just to run your rental properties. Cleaners, maintenance, security. If you close it all down, you're going to fire all of them? Right? It's complicated. She doesn't want the responsibility of all the terrible things that her company has done and is doing, but at the same time, she doesn't want the responsibility for closing it down or giving it away, which would leave it in the hands of someone potentially worse. There are no easy answers in the Zoey-verse, and I really appreciate that. There's another really good scene in Zoey Ash 2 where Zoey realizes that she has spent some $30,000 getting her air conditioning fixed in her giant house complex. And when she sees that bill, she knows, because she's been poor, that that's the kind of money that would have absolutely changed her life just a few years ago. And she spent it making a slightly annoying squeak go away in her giant mansion. And when she finds out what kinds of things her company is doing, she realizes that that $30,000 came at the cost of a tiny profit margin on a ton of human misery. Yet again, driving home this point that that huge inheritance, these billions of dollars, comes with all kinds of terrible inherent complexities. And this book does not shy away from that, and I really appreciate it. So anyway, if you like that kind of thing, check out the book. I put a link in the description, and tune in next time. We do science fiction and mixology occasionally right here in the Allen Lab.